uniting spellbinding scenery, a complex racecourse and an international fleet, the Rolex Middle Sea Race is undeniably one of the world's great offshore races. First held in 1968, this is a contest steeped in tradition, with its own distinct character. Located at the crossroads of the Mediterranean, starting and finishing against the impressive backdrop of Malta's capital Valletta, it comprises one of the most breathtaking and challenging racetracks. 606 nautical miles around Sicily and its myriad of outlying islands, narrow straits, 2 active volcanoes, open water passages, fluctuating and changeable conditions. This race has it all. Tactically, the race breaks down into identifiable segments, with each one exposing the crews to contrasting weather and sea states. Determination, flawless teamwork, and sharp decision-making are essential. This year marks 20 years of the partnership between race organisers, the Royal Malta Yacht Club, and long-standing title sponsor Rolex. Careful curation has seen the fleet increase in size and stature, as each year more and more sailors participate, widening the appeal. This year, an impressive fleet is set to add another memorable chapter to the race's history, with the winner securing their part in the growing legend. The 43rd edition of the Rolex Middle Sea Race commences on October 22nd.
Welcome to the start of the Rolex Middle Sea Race with live coverage from Grand Harbour, Valletta in Malta. I'm Louis Habib and with me is Giles Pearman. We will be bringing you action from all 7 starts. Over 120 boats from 25 different countries are expected to start the Rolex Middle Sea Race. And you can cheer them on with comments and likes from wherever you are in the world. Watching the start with me is Giles Pearman, who has been coming to this regatta for 20 years. Giles, it's good to be back.
Oh, Louis, we have the best seats in the town every year. This is our 5th anniversary, Louis. We're just thrilled. Great scene. Valletta is always at its best when it's basking in the sunshine like this. Really brings out the best of the bastions, the fortifications, the old town. Boats in the harbour. It's filling up as we're sitting here. We're watching them come in. There's not a lot of breeze. We can talk about that later. But it's a yacht race, Louis, and 606 nautical miles ahead of them.
Yeah, and we've been milling around the Royal Malta Yacht Club for the last week and seeing the crews and everybody getting ready for it. It's just been a hive of activity in Taj Beach, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The yacht club's really put on a show this year. They've really made an effort. And I was speaking to a Polish crew this morning who really wanted to thank the Royal Malta Yacht Club for their efforts, just to say, we know what you do for us and you're putting on a race. It's not just about the course, it's not just about the time at sea, it's about our time ahead of the race, it's about the time at the finish. And I think they've really stepped up a level this year in terms of their hospitality ahead of the race.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's gone extremely well, but obviously this is just the start of the Rolex Middle Sea Race here in Grand Harbour. And as I say, we'll be bringing you an hour of all of those starts. It finishes in Marsamxett Harbour, the home of the Royal Malta Yacht Club, and the 606-mile race is a circumnavigation, basically, of Sicily and the outlying islands. Giles, what are the highlights of this stunning racecourse?
Well, you've got the start in Valletta in Grand Harbour, of course, is the first highlight of the race. That's an exceptional location for any race. I think probably only matched by the Sydney Hobart with the Rolex Sydney Hobart with the start in Sydney Harbour. They don't have the history, of course, so do they? And let's remind them of that. And then they have their passage across to Capo Passaro on the corner of Sicily. Famous naval battle there in 1780, and I don't think we're going to be seeing any of that this week, though, are we, Louis?
Well,
there's going to be a bit of a battle on the course, isn't there? Then they have their passage up the eastern seaboard of Sicily, dominated by Etna, 3,357 meters high, 20 kilometers in diameter. It's not actively erupting. We have had it erupting in the past, so haven't we? We've had a pool of smoke across the racecourse in previous years, but not this year.
And there's a bit of a microclimate around Etna, isn't there?
Absolutely, massive wind shadow occasionally, and they talked about that last night at the weather briefing. Strait of Messina, connecting the Tyrrhenian Sea and the Ionian Sea, 32 kilometers long, Lou. It's massive. It's 20 miles wide at the bottom, 2 miles wide at the top, huge amounts of water flowing through it. It's generally, main current runs south to north, but you get every 6 hours, you get a current change on the surface, don't you?
And typically that can be a very light airs part of the race. But you speak to some of the people who have done this many times, and they tell you that's often where the race is won and lost, in the Strait of Messina.
Absolutely, you have these gates, these tidal gates. You can get up to 4 knots of current with you or against you, depending what you're doing. There are counter currents to play. You've really got to know what you're doing. Which side do you go? You've got the traffic separation segment as a scheme to deal with too, haven't you? There's a lot of complexity in there, quite often being dealt with at night as well, especially at the front end of the fleet and at the back. This year in light wind, very, very tricky.
And I remember Mike Broughton at the skipper's briefing giving the weather brief last night, saying that it's like a sheer wall on the Italian mainland there as well. And there's the wind bend, there's the wind shadow if you're getting the wind from that direction. It's a very complicated part of the course.
Rocks of Scylla they are. Bit of Greek mythology for you there. Yes, just for Odysseus. Any Greek fans out there? They are passing between the rocks of Scylla and Charybdis, Greek mythology, who was that's where the whirlpool is. Do you remember that there's a big whirlpool quite often up in the northern part of it? They get mini whirlpools later down. But anyway, if you go back to Greek mythology, Lou, you can read about Scylla and Charybdis.
And then, come on, we've got the lighthouse of the Mediterranean.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most spectacular points on the course. The Stromboli, one of the Aeolian Islands, 920 meters high, 2 kilometers in diameter. It's a perfect cone, Lou. It rises 2,000 meters from the seabed.
And a big eruption, wasn't there? Was it about 10 days ago?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's an exclusion zone around there which the boats have got to pay attention to. It's been in near continuous eruption, apparently for 2,000 years.
Wow.
Who recorded the first one? I couldn't tell you. But it's certainly been going since about 1934, I think, when they had records. Anyway, it is the lighthouse of the Mediterranean. They might be spending a bit of time getting familiar with it this year, but they will have a lovely time around there. I did it at sunset. And then we moved into night, and it just changes as you go around, and you get the lava flow down the side at night. It's beautiful.
Okay.
Then they're on their passage across the top, down towards the Agadi Islands. These are different islands, Louis. These the Favignana is only 6 meters tall at its highest point.
And it's beautiful around there. Stunning blue water.
Yeah. Levanto, Maritimo, other islands, famous points in history. More wars, more battles, and there are going to be battles out there this time because it's another critical point, as we know from the weather forecast. Then they're going into the first open water passage, heading down to Pantelleria, located in the Strait of Sicily. This is another really, really flat island. It was a volcano as well.
And less than 100 miles from Africa. Less
than 100 miles. It's 30 nautical miles from Tunisia. So it's much closer to there than it is, Sicily's 15 nautical miles away. It's a great island, beautiful island, but they want to get past that quickly because they want to be heading on down the coast to Lampedusa, which is the southernmost part of Italy. It's 60 nautical miles from Tunisia. They've still got nearly 100 miles to go on the course, but it's a big turning point for the boats. You want to get there in good shape, and you've got to hope there's going to be breeze, and that's a big ask. Big ask for a lot of the boats.
And how close you go in, how far you stay off?
Yeah, it's only about 130 meters high, but you can get stuck in a wind shadow there very, very easily if you're not careful. And then they're on the route back. Then they have the Camino Channel. They've got to pass between Camino and the northern end of Malta. Here's a question for you,
Oh no,
Louis.
he's going to catch me. He's going to catch me out here for
Okay,
sure.
the highest point on Camino is only 75 metres, but it's got a tower on it,
Oh.
made famous in a film. If you know the answer, that's great, Louis. Keep it under your hat. If any of the viewers know which film St Mary's Tower appeared in, put it down on Facebook. We'll give you a shout out if you get the answer right.
I bet you Adrian Stead knows. Adrian Stead loves going to Camino, says there's a fantastic beach there.
There is.
You go. You're listening, Adrian?
It's a beautiful spot. Then they're on the final little 10 nautical mile stretch back to Malta. Again, very tricky piece of sailing because you've
Big
gone
land
through
effects.
Big land effect. Big land. Highest point is up at the northern end with the Dingley Cliffs. It's not Mount Martyr, the rubbish heap, which some people say, but that's not true. It is actually Dingley
Cliffs. A lot of land lights as well. Could be a bit confusing, can't it?
A lot of shipping activity, a lot of fishing going on, so it's a tricky passage in darkness. And then you're across the finish line in Marsamxett Harbour, and it's a short motor down to the Royal Malta Yacht Club, where they will be waiting for you with open arms and an open, well, not an open bar, but a bar anyway.
A bar and some crunchy food after those days at sea. Well, look, Rolex has been the title sponsor and supporting this race since 2002. Also, many thanks to Yachting Malta for supporting this live transmission. In the last 20 years, the Rolex Middle Sea Race has flourished in terms of entries from all over the world. And we're going to show you a graphic of those entries. But Giles, you've been coming here 20 years. You don't just need the graphic, do you?
No, I'm a bit of an amateur historian. I've looked back, and prior to 2002, the biggest number of boats to take part was 37. So even 2002, when the race, I suppose, stepped onto the global stage again properly, it was always a big race back in the 60s and 70s when it was first held, but really it took off again early 2000s. And since then it built, and you go just along that slope. 2007 was the big storm year.
Well, a lot of boats just didn't, they retired beforehand,
16
if you know what I mean.
boats pulled out on the night before. They were so concerned about the weather forecast, and they were right to be, because they got bullied properly on that race.
Right.
Rambler did its sub 48-hour record run, and only 15 boats finished out of the 50-plus boats that started. So, but for that, they'd have kept on this curve. Then you kept creeping up, and then suddenly, 2014, over 100 boats, bang,
Right.
and they didn't just get 100 boats, they got 122 boats, and it smashed it. And since then, really, we've been having over 100 boats every time. The record for the 50th anniversary, 2018, big dip clearly in 2020 for COVID, not their fault.
But one of the few races that actually happened in 2020, wasn't
Absolutely, and really, really well received generally, and the boats loved it. They had a good race. I love Poland. We all love Poland, don't we, Louis?
We all love
What
Poland.
a classic line honours win that was. Jerry Tronso, Courier Rucamond. No, sorry, I'm talking about the Elusive, wasn't it? It was Elusive. Second win for Elusive. For Elusive
Second on the
too.
bounce.
Yeah. Courier
Yeah.
Rucamond won in the anniversary edition 2018. That's where I'm getting excited.
And then, and what a comeback to pre-pandemic levels in 2021. How many do we have there?
114, and this year 120. And if I whisper it, and no one's to shout about this, there are no Russians participating this year.
Okay.
And they have always been a popular, but I'm not going to start that one off.
But, we've talked about the landmarks, the Rolex Middle Sea Race, and, it is one of the most stunning sporting events, but the beauty of it can also be an absolute beast. And last year, the teams felt that brunt of the severe weather, and the records were tumbling. Got to mention, we got a new outright race record in 2022, Argo.
Yeah, blistering. They had an absolute ding-dong with Maserati, who's here again. Really right up until Lampedusa, they were at it tooth and nail, weren't they? And Lampedusa, I think it started to fall apart a bit for Maserati at that point. They did have a technical issue, and they never really got back on terms with Argo, who just stretched their legs and rolled into the finish.
Yeah.
They were about 3 hours ahead by the end. So even Argo, they smashed the record. Maserati smashed the record, but clearly Argo
Yeah, I mean it was something like 15 hours they beat it by, wasn't it?
Well, 47 hours, 48 hours really was the record. So yeah, 15 hours off it, and tremendous. Even Mana came in. So the first 3 multi-hulls all came in this sort of 30 hours, which is brilliant.
But even then, you know, speaking to Brian Thompson, who was on board Argo, he said that outright race record, the most crucial part was keeping going in Messina Strait. He said that was the crucial part of beating it, where they didn't stop, they kept going. And we'll come to the multi-hull start in a bit more detail, but we've got 5 70-foot trimarans this year, but we'll come back to that in a bit. But it's not just about the multi-hulls, is it? We've got I don't know, how many Maltese boats have we got this year, Charles?
11.
11 Maltese boats. And of those, you know, from the host nation, they've won the Rolex Middle Sea Race overall. You know, that's on IRC corrected time, on 9 occasions.
I know, there's some pretty strong boats out there. So yeah, of course, the RT team on the HH42,
yeah.
Lisa Tariano with his co-skipper Christian Rippard. They've won the race twice before. Not on this boat though, Louis.
No, they haven't. This is the second year, I believe, for RT3, and we've actually got 3 HH42s. So they're going to be having one hell of a battle just between the 3 of them. But you know, we've got so many good Maltese boats here. We've got also who have we got? We've got Jonathan Gambin's Tonton Lafurla, 3rd overall in 2020.
Yeah, he's a dark horse. I think he's on his 16th race, I think now. And every year he's pushing it up a little bit, pushing up the notch a little bit higher. He talks with great confidence, great calmness, great humility about what he can try and achieve. He's being a bit coy. He talks about his boat when it's a strong wind race being a light wind. That's a 10-minute gun, I think, there, Louis.
Yeah, his first puff of smoke there from the saluting battery. So we've got about 10 minutes to go, and we cannot have a segue into the Maltese boats without mentioning Elusive 2. Giles.
No, the Podesta family, these are the 3 siblings, Aaron, Christoph, Maya. They've been racing on this boat for over 20 years, as long as I've been coming here. Initially with their father, Arthur, who sadly passed away, but not before he'd done 35 races on the bounce. So
the first 35, he did all of them.
The first 35, he won the race. He was on 3 winning boats in that time.
Yeah.
Josiane in the first race, Tikatu Sodade. So he knew what the race was about. He was one of the finishers in the 2007 race. The 3 kids were on board with him then, and it really shows. And in fairness, Christoph and Aaron have gone on to bigger boats outside of the race. They're pro yacht skippers. They're very, very good boys.
And Maya is a doctor and a little child now.
Yeah, and Christoph and Aaron, they're all growing up. They're all investing in the future, hopefully, of the sport. As well. And Maya, she may not be a yacht skipper, but she's a super sailor in her own right. And she is a very, very good doctor too. She was part of the Malta's COVID response unit, so she played a part there too. But that is a very good team. But there's plenty else out there. Calypso, the little J99, don't forget them, with Seb Rippard, who is also a winner of the race with Market Wizard in 2001.
Yeah, absolutely. 2002, and we'll be running through those boats in their respective starts. We've got to talk about last year's overall winner, which was Comanche. Not only did they take line honours, but they also won overall, and that is a real rarity. Well,
that was the trouble. The previous trouble, it tends to be record years, funnily enough, because the previous trouble was obviously Rambler in 2007, and then Zephyrus 4 in 2000. They also secured it as well. If it's favouring the big boats that seriously, then there's very little the boats behind can do.
But in the modern era, only 2 maxis have won this race overall under IRC.
What's the modern era? If we're talking since 2000, Louis, I'm going to call you out on that. There's a question for the viewers. How many maxis have won this race since 2002?
I was going to say 2009.
Oh, 2009, of course. I don't consider that to be the modern era, Louis. Anyway,
Well, anyway, we've had our first warning signal, and we're hoping that we will have the first start at 1100, and that will be the Mokra start for the multi-hulls. Let's have a little chat about the multi-hulls, Giles.
sure.
Last year's battle in the multi-hulls, we saw that new outright race record from Jason Carroll's American Mod 70 Argo, 33 hours, 29 minutes, 28 seconds. The first Mod 70 to enter the Rolex Middle Sea race was in 2015. That was Lloyd Thornburg's Fado 3. And this year, we've got no less than 5 70-foot racing trimarans. And that's a new benchmark for the Rolex Middle Sea race. But there's only 7 of these in existence. And it's the first time 5 have been together for 10 years. There is a total of 8 multi-hulls. Let's not forget the rest. And under the Mokra time correction rule, any of them can win the Captain Morgan Trophy.
Yeah. Well, it's a hell of a bunch, isn't it? Of all of them, in terms of experience alone, you've got to point the finger at Giovanni Soldini with Maserati Multi 70. He's a previous race
absolutely.
record holder. He's taken line honours 3 times. He's got the full foiling package, as you'll tell me.
But right now, the viewers at home can see this is Zulu, sailed by Eric Maris. And this boat's done the race before, hasn't she, Charles, as power play?
That's true. Came a close second to Maserati in 2018. Eric Maris, he's what is he? He sells a GC32, so he's another foiling cat. So
he'll be pretty good in the harbour.
I think so. He's also an endurance motorsport driver, which I think he might need a bit of that on this race course.
Got a great crew. He's got the previous skipper of power play for 2018, Ned Collier Wakefield, Sidney Gavinier, Thomas Le Breton, Tim Lepau, and Bruno Mornick. I mean, that's some serious LGP material there.
That is some serious. If they had quick conditions, I think they would be something to play with, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and of the 5 Mod 70s we've got, this one is sort of middle of the pack. We've got 2 which are highly modified, which are Maserati and Snowflake. We'll come to them later. We've got 2 which are sort of almost original Mod 70 style, which are Mana and Axis. And Powerplay sort of in the middle. They've got C-foils, and they've done a hell of a lot. Powerplay, Zulu. And they've done a hell of a lot of sail development in the past when Peter Cunningham had the boat. So, looking at them gliding along now, they've got to sail out. Who have we got up there? Oh, no, we've got a nice wide shot. Not sure how long to the start here, Giles. Can you give us a hint?
Looking at 5 minutes, Louis.
5 minutes to start, okay.
So if we're looking at the wide shot, Louis, we've got Snowflake closest to the saluting battery, so to the right of your vision. Then you're coming in, you've got Maserati. You can obviously see the big logo on its blue sail.
Yeah.
Then with its stern to us is Mana, who are just coming up alongside Axis, which is Cosmo Maleshki. And that's an interesting story, isn't it? Indeed. First time he's ever done this race. I think it's first time he's ever gone offshore.
And who have we got on course side here, Giles? Just to the left of picture.
That's Zulu.
Right, so as I understand it, they've got to be behind the line at the start, otherwise they're going to cop a big penalty.
1 minute before the start, that's true.
Yeah, okay. So let's hope they make it back there. We've got a beautiful shot there of the multi-hulls all getting ready for this 11 o'clock CEST start. And as I said, it's not all Mod 70s. We've got the Italian boat in there. That's... I think that's Minimol, isn't it? Is that
Minimol, yeah, that was the one that threw us last year a bit, wasn't it? Because they crept out with all the other racing multi-hulls. It's a big ask for a boat like that. I think if I'm staring...
Aldo Fumagalli, your Italian's far better than mine. And they're returning from, as you say, they raced last year and they finished last year. Well done to them.
They did. There's the other, there's a French multi-hull, Kiora, which is sitting in the middle. I don't know if we can see that at all. We've got looking at the start list up there at the moment, haven't we? So
yes, so we've got that up, but at the moment, Charles, there is not a breath of wind. They're just about moving. We did have some breeze earlier. There's a little bit of a waft coming in. I can see some breeze further up the Grand Harbour, but at the moment in the starting area, that's all a bit confused with those boats milling around. But what we're hoping for is a bit of a southerly breeze, which should funnel into the harbour and get the boats out. But right now we've got very little wind for this start. Interestingly enough, I can see Zulu certainly are now not on course side, and they're in a bit of air there and they're moving along quite nicely. So
I wonder if there's a bit of propulsion.
There shouldn't be. I don't think there is. And also Mana again, they've found a little bit of air there, and they are moving along. Yeah. So I think they're going to be looking. For clean air here. Very difficult.
Currently if we're looking at a wide shot down to the start, Lou, you've got Mana down at the committee boat end, what we'll call that, the saluting battery closest to the guns.
Copy.
You've then got the little Italian Minimol stuck in there. Then you've got Maserati closest to the line, behind which is Snowflake, and then you're going back to Axis. Come across, you've then got Dakota, the rather more, well, it looks like a very sporty cruising.
Yeah, with the darker hull.
With the darker hull,
yeah.
With Zulu
just going behind it. Yeah.
So those are the 8 multi-hulls taking part. It's always been tricky getting a multi-hull out of this harbour. We've seen that over the years. This is going to be trickier than most, I would say.
Yeah, copy that.
Even when they get out of the harbour, it's not straightforward.
And we're just seeing them unfurling their head sails there, getting ready to go. How long have we got to go, Giles?
So we should be close to 1 minute.
Okay, so we're
under 1 minute.
Yeah, not. Okay, it's about just under 30 seconds to go. And
you will know because the cannon will go. So it'll be very clear, big puff of smoke. I don't think they're going to be hardening up and powering off though, are they, unfortunately? I wanted to talk about Axis though briefly because I think it's an interesting story, this guy. First ever offshore race. I did have a chat with him before the race. He's doing this celebration. He sold his company and decided to celebrate, but there we go. That is your first start. There's the puff of smoke, cannon.
And as you can see, not an awful lot of wind.
Not an awful lot of wind.
But I would say Snowflake looks like they've made the better start.
Well, I certainly don't think you want to be behind anything at the moment, do you? Mana is clear. If they have got air, they're clear of everybody, if that's a good expression.
Yeah.
Axis has got Minimol in front of them, the cruising cat, so that may pose them a difficulty. They look like they've got another sail. I can see a shadow through their Jenica. It looks like they may be about to hoist it. But Maserati, Snowflake is certainly off, isn't it? They're moving.
Yeah, they've got into clear air, and I think there's more breeze in the southern end of Grand Harbour. And it looks like Snowflake have got the best of the start there. We can just see Mana hardening up there, trying to get their mojo going. And
Zulu's got themselves into a bit of a pickle because they are behind Kiora. They've got to get in round behind them and then clear the start. Well, they cleared the start, but get across and out.
And just so this is the first time we've really seen Snowflake. Frank Slootman from the USA, and he has Gavin Brady on the boat from New Zealand, Tom Cheney, who was here with Sunrise last year, and Ryan Bramer. Some well-known names from the multi-hull and other scenes. And it's a new team for the Mod 70 scene. Now, this boat was Fado 3, which competed twice before in this race, taking line honours in 2015. But since then, it's had some massive modifications. So it's not that easy to pick out, but actually the rig is taller on Snowflake than the other Mod 70s. It also has some C-foil development in the middle of the boat, similar to, say, Zulu, but it also has T-foils at the back like Maserati, and these lift out the water. Yeah. So this is a bit of a light airs weapon in Mod 70 terms.
Well, they are proving it right this minute. I can see Tom Cheney on the stern just walking back across to the starboard side. He's having a very keen look to see whether they can make the siege bell tower, I don't know what that point of land is called, just behind us. That's a corner for them to get
minimise the number of attacks going out of here.
You want to do nothing, and then there he comes back across again. That's him standing on the.
But there you can see that lifting T-foil at the back. That's on a hydraulic that lifts it out of the water when they don't want that drag, and the T-foil literally comes up into the hull, and they can deploy that in more breeze, and that's on both sides of the boat. And it's got a longer bowsprit as well, so this has got a lot more sail area than the other Mod 70s.
They are motoring.
They are
in relative
properly
terms.
licking along. I mean, they're not far off doing about 8-9 knots in 3 or 4 knots of breeze. I mean, that's about double the wind speed.
They've made me eat my words, because I thought this was going to be a lot harder, and they're making it look easy.
Yeah, and, you know, they're going to get out of the harbour first, and that isn't just bragging rights. They're going to get launched. I'll tell you who's come back in it really well here, and that's Zulu. But we're still on Snowflake at the moment. And there you can see them, literally just about to go, but now we are focused on Zulu. So this was formerly Power Play, and it's now sailed by Eric Maris from France with a great team. And we did see them here in 2018, and they are now back. And again, they've got a really good exit out. They've got past the other boats, but Snowflake has definitely won this start. Snowflake
is gone. They're just about to make their turn, I'd say, to get round the lower, the inner breakwater. I'm sorry, we don't have vision back to there. So,
yeah, and there we're seeing the back of Zulu there, and you can see the crew working to get the boat out. And
actually, you can see Snowflake in the distance.
You can
see them. They're still motoring on, aren't they? Still on starboard tack by the look of things.
Yeah, they're just about lifting a hull here, Zulu. You know, they've got some good pressure, it's very difficult to say. We'll talk about the weather later, but could be 3 days.
I think so, unless they can make. Unless they can make those transitions. They've got some massive transitional issues, haven't they, in different parts of the course. It's not just getting up. Normally we talk about, can they get to the Strait of Messina? Can they get to Stromboli? Can they get to Favignana? Now it's, can they get to Lampedusa? Can they get back to Malta from Lampedusa? Yeah. That high pressure, I was told this morning, is dissipating rapidly.
Yeah, and just a shot of Maserati there. Previous record holder smashed it last year, but got beat by Argo. And they've taken line on us here 3 times. We're going to have to leave the multi-hulls now because we're 5 minutes until the second start of the race. So, Giles, let's focus on the 27 boats. Most of these boats are in IRC 6. And the smaller yachts in the Rolex Middle Sea Race have won the race overall in the past. You know, it is on time correction, IRC time correction for the Rolex Middle Sea Race trophy. Notably, you mentioned them earlier, Market Wizard 2002, John Rippard and Andrew Calaxoni. And the Rippard dynasty is continuing here with Seb Rippard, skipper of Calypso. And we think that's the smallest boat, Giles, is that right?
We've been arguing about this. We've been arguing about this because I think there's a smaller boat. I think the,
Well, it's one of the smallest boats. Come on, at least give me that. But great to see the Rippards out again. And there's more than one Rippard. We'll see some later on. But just to run you through it, it's the second race for the J99. And Seb won it, as we said, on Market Wizard. And last year he was on the boat with Tommy Rippard, his brother, but he's not racing this year because wife Lauren's just about to have their first baby. We did have a little chat with Seb before the race, and he said that, they felt like the boat's more optimised this year for a larger range of conditions.
Yeah.
And they won the Yachting Malta Coaster race, didn't they?
Well, I guess if that's an indication of anything, it's an indication they can sail well.
Yes, for sure.
This is a lot longer race, Louis. That was a 12-mile sail up to Camino. This is a 606-mile race. They've
very
got
different.
A massive, and that is a small boat to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, very different. So we're just seeing the multi-hulls leaving the harbour at the moment for the viewers at home. And it is only 2.5 minutes, roughly, to the start 2, which will be IRC 6. And there we've got a nice wide shot of the boats getting ready to start. And there's a fair bit of tension when you just about to do a 606 mile race, isn't there, Charles?
There's a huge amount for you because you've got so much to get organised. It's not just, they said last night at the briefing that they congratulated the crews on getting to that point, but just getting your boat to the start line is a massive achievement. Christian Rippard, who's done this race countless times and sailed all the way around the world, he says, I feel like I've won if my boat crosses the start line. Obviously, he then goes on to win the race himself, but it's an achievement of just logistically getting the boat here. Not a lot of the boats are kept here the whole time, so they've got to get here, they've got to get their crew here, they've got to get the sails here, the racing sails here. They've got to,
and they come from all over the world as well. It's a big deal.
Australia, we've got boats from New Zealand, the US, Canada this year. It's extraordinary. Plus, they've got to get the supplies right on their water and food. And these boats, these could be looking at 6 days. These smaller boats.
I mean, there we've got up there on the graphic there, Red Ruby, Jonathan McGee, an Olympic gold medalist. They trucked the boat from the UK to Barcelona, then sailed all the way from Barcelona to get here. I mean, that's a big deal.
He's got form though, hasn't he? He did the what is it called, the R2AK race.
700-mile race to Alaska.
No rules apart from you're not allowed an engine on your boat. I think that's basically it. And they were one of the first boats to do the outside course, outside Vancouver. Anyway.
And he's racing two-handed with Alosha Strumpalerm. And
well pronounced.
Thank you. And they've both come all the way from the Pacific Northwest. I believe Seattle. I believe they're both from Seattle. And as you say, they won the R2AK from Washington to Alaska this year. And we've got a little puff of breeze, but obviously these boats aren't capable of mod 70 breeze. We've got 7 Maltese boats in this start.
That is impressive. That is impressive. And there's some, I think we haven't mentioned really the fact that there's some double-handers going off on this race, have we? Obviously, not just Red Ruby, but Rockall, is he doing it double-handed?
Not sure if Rockall's is, but look, we've got some spinnakers going up, Jos. What is happening here? We've got some spinnakers going up for this start.
Well, you're getting your breeze from the south or...
Well, it can't be from the south.
Southeast, no?
Well, maybe if it's light enough, but the breeze looks like it must have shifted.
That's your start, Louis.
And there we go, we're off. And I can certainly see, at least 5 or 6 boats trying to fly kites. As usual, it's busy up the pin end. I can see a couple of boats there, I'm pretty sure.
I'll just reel off some sail numbers to you.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's Calypso there with the orange sail numbers there, going for a spinnaker. But we'll off some sail numbers, Charles. Go on. Give me the country codes as well.
I'll start from the saluting battery. So we're going from right to left as you're a viewer.
Nice and slow.
I've got Rockall as the first boat
Copy.
closest to the...
Christopher Opilock,
then
third race for him.
Italian boat at the back. Can't see the full sail number at the moment. But then you've got Selene for Pure Ocean with their spinnaker up.
And one of the many teams here from Marseille.
And he's got form, hasn't he? He's got form, crewed and double-handed. He's done this race on a number of occasions. He's
second in IRC 6 2018, but he is actually double-handed again this year.
I'm looking at a little Croatian sail number behind there. I can see 739. I can't see...
Yeah, that's our friends Munjak, Dusko Tomifa. Kavala Munjak, that's all I can say in Croatian, which I think means thank you.
Very good. Moving across, there's then a fully crewed boat, can't see the sail number. Looking at a pack with ITA 17523.
Yeah, that's Lima Tourist Bond, the Gyro 34, Francesco Serini. And he's back for his third race.
And in front of them, he's got USA 61344.
Which is Kiboko Tattoo. He's actually Olif Grenades from Sweden. And he's here racing an Arcona 380.
Okay, moving further left, just at the back, Numa, PLO 80.
Yes, we've got PLO 80 Numa. That's Andrzej Roszki from Poland in a 1030, JPK 1030. We've got a few of those here.
Yes, we have. And a shout out for the Maltese, Vivace,
Reflex 38, Andrew Agis Delicate with Matthew Gabriel. They aren't double-handed this year. They've decided to rope in a team for the race from all locals. to give them the experience. They're normally double-handed, but not this year.
I think they might be quite relieved with that decision. Might mean more food, but I think it means a bit more hand on deck. So that's going to be a big call.
Yeah,
from
is that Maltese Falcon with the red kite?
No, that's not.
It's got a
it
Falcon
is.
on it.
It's open. What's open paid? No.
Jonathan Camilleri Bauman's in this
There we
start
go.
anyway with Maltese Falcon 2.
Icon.
The first 40.7 from Malta.
Oh, it is. It's MLT 407. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right at the back, POL. Sorry, 10664.
Yes, that's Blue Horizon. Jacket Jabowski with his Delphia 47.
And we're looking, the camera's on this rather beautiful classic looking boat, ITA 17885 at the
Now,
moment.
I think, and you're going to probably shout me down, that's Valentina and the only wooden boat in the race, Charles.
It is the only wooden boat in the race, and I'm not going to shout at you today.
Yeah,
though.
built in 1984, and they're here, Pier Paolo Cane with his team from the Club Nautico Rimini.
Very pretty looking boat, very
Yeah.
pretty looking boat. Just to the left of them, that is USA 68900, and I'm going to guess that's Red Ruby.
You are correct. That is Red
Yeah.
Ruby. Did really well in the Rourke Seasons Points Championship this year, but not with Jonathan racing it. It was with the Wolf partners, Justin and his wife.
We're taking in a bit of a drone shot at the moment, which is lovely because the sail colours
Yeah, look at
are
that.
nice. So it's a pretty start, even if it's a pretty slow start.
It is, but it's interesting to see spinnakers up in the harbour.
It is.
Come on, you've been here 20 years. How often do you see spinnakers in the harbour?
Not very often, though.
No, it's very colourful.
Not very often.
Yeah, and just so you know, we've got some fantastic photographers out there today, and they will be, doing their magic, and we'll have those later. And I'll definitely be asking Kurt Arrigo and Alex Turnbull, who are local Maltese, if they've seen spinnakers in the harbour before. This is a rare treat. Who have you got, Charles? Who's that right at the front?
I'm hoping we can get round to the boat at the front, just that's past Fort St Angelo, which is Raging Bee. French boat.
Yeah.
I spoke to them yesterday.
Yeah, they're just out of shot. At the moment,
Yeah.
we can sort of see.
There we go. We're on them now.
Okay, nice work, guys. So, as you say, Raging Bee, that's Jean-Luc Hamon with a crew from Toulon, and you had a good chat with them, didn't you, Charles?
A good chat with them yesterday. Yeah, they're all used to sailing. There are only 5 of them on the boat. They're used to sailing the boat short-handed. They were grinning when I asked them how long it was going to take. 6 days, hopefully.
Really?
But they look at this race. They've come here to win class. They did well in their first race 2 years ago, where I think they finished on the podium. But they really see a chance here to win class because they think, and they know, and this is true, it's going to be a hugely, hugely tactical race. This is about keeping your head in the game for as long as possible, working the boat all the time, keeping your head on the nav, keeping your head on the weather, seeing what's going on around you, and
that's one of the lowest rating boats in the race, and they're leading out the harbour.
Yeah.
And I've got to give a shout out to Louis-Marie Dussert, who originally owned Raging Bee from Cherbourg, and I know he's very good friends with the current owner, Jean-Luc Hamon. I hope you're watching, Louis-Marie, and thank you for the fromage tips for Cherbourg for the Rolex Fastnet race. You've got it spot on. But great to see Raging Bee there, out in front. Who's that in second, Charles, with a red flash on there?
GBR 880X.
That is Colombre. So that's actually an Italian boat with a British sail number. Colombre, Massimo Juris is JPK 1080, and they're going very well.
And I can't see who's quite
Just
behind,
slightly
but I think it's
shadowed,
probably
isn't
an MLT. It's another one with its sail number ending in 2.
Okay, might be bait. Could be the Elan 410 bait. Paul De Bono. We'll say hi to Paul anyway, and all his friends and family watching. Paul De Bono in this start with his Elan 410 bait. We've also got the 2 Jarhead Young Sailors teams. I'm not sure if they're in shot at the moment.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I can see, I can see MLT 7991 just well, I guess just to the north of Fort St Angelo.
Okay. Well, you know, we've got a wide shot now. Let's talk about the Jarhead Young Sailors Foundation, and you know, it's an ongoing project that's, you know, featured a lot in the Rolex Middle Sea Race recently. What's it all about, the Jarhead Young Sailors Foundation, Charles?
Well, it's set up by a guy called Greg Naismith, who's a sailor in his own right, moved to Malta some years ago, and is passionate about offshore racing, and he saw an opportunity to help young Maltese sailors who had an interest in the sport to be exposed to it, and he sees the Rolex Middle Sea Race as a great opportunity for that. So he usually brings in a different skipper, a couple of
experienced skippers,
experienced guys,
but teenagers,
and then puts teenagers on the boat.
Yeah, amazing.
And some of those are grown up. So Matthew Ferrugia, who's skippering one of them, he started in this program having never done the race. Now he's skipper of one of the boats. So that's the nature
fantastic.
of the program.
Yeah, fantastic.
I think though, if we could, what we really want to be looking at is what's going on just beneath us, Louis. If we can get the camera pointing down on the water.
We've got a nice wide shot. As you say, we've got Ludovic with Solène Pure Ocean making a really good move over on this side, but he's not in shot at the moment. I'm not sure if we're going to get him. We've got
we're getting
the screen up. But
we've got carried away, Louis.
But we've got to give a shout out to the team from Slovenia, Carpo, Max Vreco. There's 30 of them here.
We've also only got 2 minutes to the next start, Louis. We've been
we've been going on. So yeah, beg your pardon.
But while you're thinking about that, I'm going to give a shout out to Jan Howard, who's watching from Newcastle in Australia. Thank you very much, Jan.
Okay, there you go. We've got 1 minute to go to start 3, which will be 23 boats, mainly from IRC5. There are start groupings because the harbour's so tight. It doesn't necessarily mean we can put them all off in IRC classes, but most of these boats are in IRC5. The most successful Maltese boats in the history of the race, Elusive 2, is in this start, Giles, and we were talking about them earlier on. And not really first 45 weather, this, is it?
Not at all, no. I wouldn't expect they would be entirely delighted with this.
Well, we'll see how they get on. We've got a nice onboard here of Solène Pure Ocean. Lovely work from the camera team there. And that's Ludovic's beautiful boat. And that's, you know, it looks pretty stunning. It looks a lot quicker when you're on board. But anyway, back to the wide shot, and we are now going to focus on start 3, and boom, that should be the gun. I heard a hooter. There you go. So that's, I believe, the start 3 has just gone.
It may, I think it's been
Or have they
postponed.
AP'd? They might have AP'd it.
I think they may have AP'd it.
Can't quite see the AP flag from here. Can you have a look through the binos, Giles? But we think that we might have a postponement here, obviously for the wind. And it makes sense because the start 2 are only 200 or 300 metres from the line.
Nothing apparent, but there may have been we may have just missed out on some instructions up there for this start because they're not lining up. So we can talk a bit more about.
What do you want to? No, we've got the next start up on the screen, Giles. So we'll stick with them.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether those boats, they'll be looking up the course and seeing, they can see, can't they, how these boats are getting on, where the favoured side might be.
Yeah, not that easy though. I think it's clear air thereafter.
I know, it's sure, but if you take it back,
We do this
the
every year, don't we,
the Fort St Angelo side looked favoured for a bit, didn't it?
We do.
But actually, by the time you get halfway up the harbour, then it's switching over to this side of the course.
But we've got a southerly breeze this year, which is a bit unusual, isn't it?
Wow.
So anyway,
everything's unusual this year, Louis.
Yeah, everything. Anyway, we aren't 100% sure. Just to explain, we aren't on the start line. We are about 800 metres in front of the start line. We're not at the saluting battery. We're at the lovely Baraka Gardens. And I've noticed that there's actually a bar here.
Well, there is. This is the first time in 2 years there's been a bar here, Louis. Because 2020, you'll remember, there was nobody here, just us, because of COVID. Yeah. And last year, even COVID restrictions were in play, so there was nobody else here but us.
Okay. Hey, we're now switching back to the boats that have just started in 2, I believe. And we've got a nice shot there of, I'm pretty sure that's Jonathan McGee.
Well, that is
and
the double-hander.
Alosha Strumpaler. I'm pretty sure that's them, yeah.
coming in. We've got
It's a bit warmer than Alaska
we've got
here,
MLT
isn't it?
7891 or 7991. That's one of the jarhead boats, isn't it, Louis?
That is correct. That's Jizjan. And yeah, you know, they've got 2 J109s here, so they're going to have their own little private battle, whatever happens, aren't they? So yeah, the wind sort of died down a bit, but obviously with a southerly breeze, there's a lot of disturbed air as the boats have started, and that's.
Oh, there's a lovely shot of Rockall, Chris Opilok.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been to this race a few times, and he's always done well. He is a class act. And this is one of the smallest boats I've seen him on. His last boat was a TP52, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he's done the race 3 times, I believe, and he was 2nd overall in 2011.
There you
That
go.
was with the little Corby, I think.
Yep.
And 2015, he won IRC4. And this time he's in the new Rockall, fully crewed. He's also got Peter Fletcher on board from Tasmania.
Right.
Who's trying to do every 600-mile race on the planet and maybe a couple of other planets as well. Lovely wide shot there, the harbour. And if you know Malta, you'll know what a wonderful place it is. If you haven't, you really should come here.
Yeah, big crowd forming on the bottom of
Fort
Fort St Angelo. There's some people looking up high up on the ramparts too.
Yeah, nice shot of Vivace here,
Yeah.
Giles. What can you tell me about Vivace? I've just completely landed you in it there.
You have completely landed me in it. It is clearly a Maltese boat, Louis. Thank you very much for that, because we've both moved our papers on to the next start, haven't we?
Yeah, they are in the next start, aren't they?
They're in your previous start.
Oh, you're absolutely right. This is Andrew Agues Delicati and Matthew Gabriele. Oh, it's a nice shot there for the trimmers amongst us. What do you think? You think that main's backwinding a bit? Answers on a postcard.
I'm not even going to get involved. You know what my sailing skills are.
Who have we got now? This is, oh, well, what have they got in the back there? Keep it real. I like that.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Still looking at
Reflex
their
38.
Yeah.
There we go.
It shows how difficult it is right now.
Well, he says he's got a lot of novices on the boat as well, which is
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad way to, you don't want a bish bash bosh 50 knotter, do you?
Yeah.
If you're doing your
What was
first
the comment
one.
last night? Seasickness is unlikely to be an issue in this race. Make sure. The other thing they're unlikely to see is rain.
That's. Oh, don't say the R word, whatever you do.
I always think
Okay.
in this race you can never count out rain. It's always going to be in play
There
at
we
some
go.
point.
We got a
But
nice-
there was a lot of confidence last night.
Got at top of Mugnac's little flat head on the main on that 753-300. You must have spotted that, Charles.
I can feel a bit of breeze up here, Louis.
Yeah,
and I
I
can
can.
see a bit more movement on the water beneath us. Who's CRO 27?
2739. That's
Yeah.
Mugnac.
Okay.
Got a nice beauty shot there, yeah. But there's definitely some more breeze, and these guys are beginning to take off here from start 2, and we're hoping to get start 3 away. It is obviously been AP'd, so start 3 shortly. I'm
MLT 851. It's probably not in shot just yet. They're behind the boat with the blue spinnaker, so they may just come into shot for us shortly.
That's Janissa, the Sun Odyssey 45, Mario De Bono, who is the Rear Commodore House at the Royal Malta Yacht Club.
Yeah, he's a great one for the Corinthian element of this race.
He certainly is.
He's a big fan of that. He wants to introduce sailors that are not necessarily going around for the competition, but are going around for the adventure.
Amateur spirit.
Amateur spirit, exactly. But to build their sailing skills, enjoy the course, because it is a beautiful course, enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they're next to another boat, they're trying to get a bit of extra speed out of it, aren't they?
Yeah.
You're always in a yacht race when two boats are next to each other.
Indeed, yeah, we've got a beautiful shot of the blue spinnaker there. I can't see a sail number, so at the moment, I'm not 100% sure who that is.
USA 61344 on the kite. Kiboko Tatu.
There we go. That's Olaf Grananda, and I think he is part of the Swedish Sailing Federation. Might even be an officer of it.
Right.
I think he did the Roche Baltic Sea race from memory, but it is only from memory, and not in this boat.
The
In a different
Vivace
boat.
getting a lot of love, but they're definitely picking up speed with their kite, aren't they?
They are. They're going very well.
That camera angle makes it look like they're just absolutely hauling it round the outside.
Yeah, it tends to suggest that, and Mickey Broughton did say this at the weather briefing, that the breeze is going to try and go to that side, and it looks like it has, which will give them a nice bit of downwind action once they get out of Grand Harbour. What have we got? We're at 11:27 now, assuming they did a 10-minute AP. I'm only assuming, because we don't have a VHF here. I reckon we could be going for start 3 at 11:30.
Yeah, there's not a lot of head sail activity down at the start line. That's a lovely shot looking out the harbour. On the right-hand side, you've got inner breakwater, left-hand side, outer breakwater. That looks like one of the catamarans still trying to get out of the harbour.
Yeah,
we're obviously looking at this on the screen as opposed to being able to see it in real life.
Look at the spectator boats out there.
Yeah.
They're getting a fantastic.
I know, and those...
can I just say, if you're on a spectator boat out there watching this live start, please make a comment. Even send us a picture. You can even post a picture on the feed. That would be really good fun. So what do you reckon, Giles? I can see a few head sails going up, but it would be very tight for 11:30 start. Let's see what happens. So if you've just joined us, we're on a slight postponement for lack of wind for start 3.
Nice.
But the breeze has picked up.
I think nice shot of Numa, and just on the outside with the red spinnaker, I'm going to take a punt on that being the other JY Aspo. MLT 923, Louis? I think that's the other jarhead.
That is Jizz Jarhead. You're absolutely right.
And inside of them, GBR 9383 with a yellow sail. I'm not sure if that's
yes,
in
and
shot
that's
as well.
the Intuition, the Reflex 38 Intuition, with Lee Gallagher from Britain skippering, and that's a charter crew on that.
And then we've got Numa, which is right inshore here. So that's the boat we can see just beneath us. Sailing double-handed.
Yeah, oof. JPK 1030 and Andres Rozchik.
Good going.
Yeah,
good
that
going.
was not
we
good,
know you've got lots of fans in Poland, though, Louis.
Dziękuję. I don't say sorry, but I don't say thank you. Yeah,
they've been great fans of years. Oh, we've had a few. Oh, Stuart Childerley's watching.
Brilliant.
On his 28th wedding anniversary. I'm not sure we should be mentioning that, or is that just a reminder to him?
Good on you, Stuart. Good on you, Stuart. Good.
And Yves Tunic has called in from Lac Le Mans, Geneva, telling us there's more wind on the lake. Now that is a rarity.
Oh, I don't know about that. But Stuart Childley, international race officer, he'll probably be giving us a debrief on our commentary afterwards. I think we've got to start.
We've got to start, Louis.
We have. So 10 minutes late for start 3. Just wait for the breeze, and they're off.
Okay, I'll try and give you some sail numbers starting from the committee end.
Copy.
If I can. I've got a GBR, I can't quite, 6715R.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I reckon, is it a dark hull?
Yep, dark hull.
Dawn Treader, JPK 1180. Ed Bell.
Yeah.
Sister ship to last year's runner-up Sunrise.
I know, should have been a weapon.
Now,
probably not in these conditions.
They won the Gotland Runt this year overall, and they started the season in the Caribbean at the Royal Caribbean 600.
Wow, that is a well-travelled boat. Just coming across, we've got another Maltese boat, MLT 44, I think that's 044. I can't.
Yes, that's Martini Espresso. It was originally a Maltese boat, but it's now Dutch, and that's Bas van der Poel.
Okay.
And Bas is a bronze medalist at the Flying Dutchman World Championship.
So we're moving across the fleet. I can see a red spinnaker down there. In front of them with a white spinnaker up is ITA 16677.
Yeah, that's Tever Remo Monile.
Okay, and the blue spinnaker that we're looking at is MLT 450. That is your friends Elusive.
Correct. Elusive 2, Aaron Meyer and Christoph Podesta. And they are attempting to win for the 3rd time in the same boat, following successes in 2019, 2020, I believe.
Exactly, yeah. First back-to-back wins since Nita did it in the 70s. They did it 3 in a row, though.
Yeah, well, okay. But the Arthur Podesta Trophy is named in memory of their father, who completed in 35 consecutive races. And that's for the best IRC corrected time for a Maltese boat. which they've won 3 years in a row. What can you see, Giles? What do you
Well,
tell me?
we had a lovely...
We've got a lovely shot of Elusive
that
there.
is elusive.
There is,
Yeah.
I can see Christoph not on the wheel. I think that's, is that Aaron driving? No, I don't think it is.
No, it's Christoph driving.
It is Christoph driving, beg your pardon. And I think that's Maya at the back there, calling the shots. Had a quick look at the camera there. Well done, Maya. Really good luck to these guys and girls.
They are always a force to be reckoned with. If you're up with them in this class, then you've got every chance, haven't you, of doing well. They're a benchmark.
Absolutely. You know, they sail that boat with passion, with pride, and with an amazing amount of skill.
And in fairness, they're a benchmark for this start at the moment, looking at the way they're piled on the yards.
Yeah.
They are being matched by a blue-hulled yacht, and I can't see a sail number on them at the moment. I can't see
but look
any...
how they're getting all the weight out the back of the boat. They've got
Yeah.
most of the crew sitting on the foredeck.
Yeah. That is some very relaxed helming from Christoph, I have to say, but clearly in tune with his boat. I think we might be looking at a Hungarian boat, Louis.
Okay,
They're
well,
just overtaking them
if
now.
it is, then it's Femme Fatale, the first 47.7.
Yes, absolutely. There we go.
Peter Segai and another Olympic sailor here. He competed in the 470 in the 2004 Summer Olympic Games. So
Wow.
he's showing he knows how to sail in Grand Harbour as well in a 47.7.
That is absolutely Olympic form to be at least on the coattails of Elusive, I would say, at this point in the race.
Yeah. We've still got Elusive in shot. Well, we're going over to the Hungarians now.
No, we're still looking
at
at
it's
Elusive.
still Elusive. There we go. And why not?
Why not? But there's a pack. The pack behind is filling up on the very far side. If we ever get across to a wide shot.
No wonder they're taking, you know, they're going guns, because they need to get ahead of that pack.
Yeah.
And, you know, they are a tremendous team, Elusive. There you've got the wide shot there with the Hungarian boat, Femme Fatale. And these are the two leaders leaving the harbour. And as Giles is pointing out, you'll see them later on. We've got a real peloton chasing Elusive out of the harbour.
Led by your friends Carpe, I think.
Yeah, we'll come. Here we go. So, yeah, we've got Spinnaker, Tiki. You reckon that's Carpo?
I reckon it says Carpe on the hull.
Fantastic.
There are about
Fantastic.
500 people in support of that boat, is that right? They were all at the yacht club yesterday
There's
having their
30 of
photo
them.
taken.
Yeah,
30 of them,
with
sorry.
Children, they've come in, massive posse. And they're on the Austrian border from Slovenia.
Well, they're having a bit of a fight at the moment with the Italians in ITA 16677, just coming out to windward of them as we speak.
But get this, when we spoke to Max Vreco from Carpo yesterday, I said, if there's one boat you want to beat, which one is it? And he said Elusive.
There you go.
And you're not beaten at the moment. Come on.
You can see right in the middle of our picture at the moment, I think it's the only Austrian boat in the race, AUT 27.
Just getting there. Aquanomis XP44, and that has a woman skipper, Ursula Berger.
Well, big
from Austria.
Big shout out to her. It's and so we're just looking back. The fleet, this bunch is coming up now.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. We're just seeing the lead boats at the moment, Giles. The viewers at home are watching our good friends on Carpo. And who's that outside Carpo that's in shot? Can't quite pick up.
That's your 16677, the Italian boats.
That is Tever Remo Monil. And they've been in good form. Overall winner in the Lunga Bolina.
We've just seen Tonton Lefebvre passing out of view, I'm afraid. So that's Jonathan Gambine on the wheel with his crew on the leeward side, but they've just stepped out. So where am I looking now?
Who's the green Spinnaker?
Green...
Oh, no, we've moved again. That's now, I'm pretty sure, Blackfish. We're looking at the Belgian team.
Yeah.
Racing two-handed again. That's Peter Look with Jan Truant. And they were fourth in double-handed last year.
That's a nice shot, showing you the fleet's just ahead of them too.
Yeah, but he's back this year with a crew of 6. He's got 4 Belgians and 2 from Holland.
GBR 6712R.
And that is Dawn Treader. That's the JPK 1180, Ed Bell. Lovely shot there of the fleet ahead of them.
Yeah, they are at the back at the moment, those two boats. So we're looking down through
twin rudders, and that isn't the best these are not the best conditions for a twin rudder,
No.
wide hull boat, Dawn Treader, Ed Bell, but they'll be there. They'll get back in it.
Definitely.
I know they will. And then we have Tonton Lafurla. You were talking about them earlier on.
Yeah, Jonathan Gambin. Well, we said before, 16th race.
Unbelievable.
He's a huge fan. I met him the first time he did this race. I say it every time we come on. And he was just like this, a little schoolboy in the sweet shop. He was so excited. And now he's a much serious player. He really
Third
thinks,
overall in 2020.
Yeah. I think that, and all that's done is spurred him on to do more.
Yeah. Well, we've got some cracking shots here of Start 3. 23 boats, mainly in IRC 5. But we're going to have to switch our focus to the next start, which is Start 4. And there's 19 boats, IRC 4. So the boats are getting faster and bigger as we go through this monohull section of the fleet. And we anticipate that start will be just in under 2 minutes. 19 boats. And I tell you what, Giles, I reckon this is the most diverse start in terms of boat design. You've got 2 Pogo 1250s, but the other 17 are all different designs racing under the IRC time correction. So it's a massive diversity. The longest boat is the More 55 More Fun, which has got a nice, comfortable interior with a cooker, air conditioning, fridge. I like the sound of that one, John. The Far 45 Comanche Sagola, on the other hand, that's pipe cots, simple galley, and it's going to be hot on that boat.
Former Comanche Raider.
The former Comanche Raider.
One of the Maltese contingent, but now in different hands, now under Italian.
Correct. And just to give you an idea of the variety of the boats in that class, and we think they're about to start.
Well, I don't think they are, Louis. There's not a lot. Again, not a lot of head sail action.
Blue Peter, as I said, we are 800 metres from the starting area.
I know.
We're very near the bar, though, Giles, and we haven't even had a glass of water yet. Is that a subtle enough hint?
I did get a juice brought to me this morning, though, Louis. I felt like I was commentating on the cricket. Is that right?
Favouritism. A bit of magic cake, was it, or something?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're assuming, but I don't. Yeah, as you say, we're not with the starting area, and it's pretty bright sunshine. It's pretty difficult to pick.
So we're just for the minute. We'll just go back to just take some shots of these other boats that are still racing while the other start is setting itself up.
Okay.
It would just be
nice
to do
just
something.
Nice,
let's see if we can.
Nice drone shot coming in here. Who's this, Giles? We've got a sail number here.
Yeah, so that is GBR 2742R.
That is Atame.
Oh, Beppe Bizzotto. Great fan of the race. Another one been coming in for years. Double-handed.
He should be on stage, that guy. He should be on stage.
I don't know. Questionable sanity call doing this race double-handed this year, but anyway, let's give it to him. He's a great fan.
Raced last year, 8th in class. As you say, he's done I don't know how many. Beppe. Oh, I'm sorry. He's had a love affair. I don't know how many years with this race, but his long-term short-handed partner and an old mate had to pull out with COVID. He literally put a thing out on Facebook. Catherine Jordan from Britain put her hand up. They've never raced together before the Yachting Malta coastal race. She's a highly experienced sailor, though. She's done the Rolex Fastnet, she's done the Rolex Sydney Hobart. So they've literally been thrown together last minute.
That is a massive thing to do, especially take on this. But good for them, both of them. I think we're looking through. There's a Greek sail number, GRE 191. Now, I'm not aware of a Greek boat in the race, Louis.
Well,
so
I think that's actually the Canadian team from Cameron McRae on the Antelope, XP44.
There we go. That'll be them.
And he's got his brother, Andrew, on board, Trevor Fencott, and they're all Etchells builders in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, look at this, King's Legend.
Oh, now we're talking.
That's our era, Louis.
Right, come on, Giles. Tell me all about King's Legend.
Swan 65.
Yeah.
Whitbread race. It's been around the world more times than you and I have done this start, probably. But
yes, but if I'm not wrong, they've twice done this race before and they haven't finished
and
it yet.
they've never finished, so third time lucky. It'll be quite tough going, won't it, this race for them.
And I know Richard Oswald's on board, and I think the former owner is as well.
There's a lot of weight to be carrying around in not a lot of wind, but it'll be comfortable.
Yes, it will, and I hope they get round.
You should all get a berth when you get allowed time off deck.
Absolutely. And another lovely wide shot here. It's a beautiful day here in Malta, isn't it? Absolutely
we're-
stunning. There we go. There's Blackfish at the back there. I'm not going to be able to pull out all the stops here on the names, but
FRA 9687 with the red
Noisy
spinnaker.
Oyster J122, and that's chartered to Wayne Zittel, who's from San Diego. He's done 16 Hawaii races, but this is his first Rolex Middle Sea race.
Nice shot of the crowd that's gathering just on the just in front of the Siege Bell Memorial. That's just behind us.
Oh, what a shot with the spinnakers in the
lovely
corner.
shot. What a great place to be watching this race from, because they get the view just down towards the start, Fort St Angelo end, and then out to see where the boats are going out of Grand Harbour. There we go. That is where they are. And we're just in that sort of colonnaded area. That's the La Baraka Gardens. Yeah, make sure. Brush your teeth, Louis.
That's it. Yeah, comb my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are literally just out of shot. I think that's probably a good
thing,
idea,
yeah. But look at the crowd down there too.
Oh, no. There you go, top left. Hello, Mum.
That's TVM on the far right, and then in the middle is the technical area, and then we're on the left, Louis, waving. Yes, just what we expect of you,
Lovely
Louis.
shot.
But that is a great, look at that shot.
Thousands of people out, and on both sides of Grand Harbour.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're still tooling around down at the start area in case anybody's worrying. There's not a lot of evidence of the next start going just yet. We've talked about most of these boats. So GBR 6712R.
Dawn Treader making a nice break on the inside there, aren't they?
I think they have. And then we've talked about FRA 9687.
Noisy Oyster, yeah, from California.
Well, they'll be happy with the efforts they're making in this, won't they?
Yeah. And,
oh, look, sitting on the bow of the boat. There's that. Who's that one there? Let's get up to that sail number if we can see the sail number now.
Where are we going?
We're still looking
back
at this
with the
pack.
Here. So there's Dawn Treader on the inside. Haven't seen them yet, but shout out to Mandalay, Bjorn Ambos, and he's double Olympian and Volvo skipper Andreas Hanekamp for company for this year's race. And I think Andreas has done this race once before as well. It's like a who's who when we were at the crew party, wasn't it? You know, looking
completely.
around. Olympic, Volvo Ocean Race sailors, world champs.
Then the nice thing about the crew party, we said to it is a massive shindig, isn't it?
It is. It's
but this
superb.
year there were a lot of serious crews turned up to enjoy it.
Yeah, wearing their colours.
Yeah, wearing their colours, which is a nice sign, because it's an Zara Lodge, a lovely spot.
It is not bad, is it?
Yeah.
It isn't bad at all.
Right, I think there's a bit more head sail action down at the start area, Louis. And these boys,
it's looking good,
and
isn't
girls
it?
up here are.
So we're
doing
now on
their
the
best.
start area.
Yeah.
We can see somebody having a play with a yellow spinnaker there.
Yeah, that's FRA 43769.
Okay, let's switch to start 4 then. We're waiting for the start 4. And 19 boats in this start, 9 different countries, and they are all different shapes and sizes.
I don't know if we can see it coming in from hard left. FRA 9845, is that in this start?
Yeah, that is Yagisa, the first 53. Laurent Corbin from France with Philip Fowler's skipper.
That is a sexy looking boat.
It's a lovely boat. You are. And this is Philippe Fowler's 11th race. So he knows this race very well.
Oh, that is impressive.
And they are back from their debut last year. They've done a lot of work to the boat, including smoothing out some of the stopcocks on the hull. So they're pretty quick. Well, the Saint-Tropez, they won their class this year.
Right, I'm trying to make out the boat to the left of the yellow spinnaker, but I can't see any identifying sail numbers on it.
Okay, it looks like they're getting ready for action though, doesn't it?
They definitely are. I can see ITA 1612.
Yes, and now that is Antonio Bavasso's Anouk, Solaris 47 from Italy.
Yeah, we're looking at them crossing the We're following a boat crossing, which is rather irritating, has no identifying features other than all the advertising on the side
It
of it.
has got a huge amount of colour on
They
it, hasn't it?
just furl something up and show us a sail number, we'll be happy. But no, not a sail number on there. There must be one somewhere. It's just so dark I can't see it. But they're crossing IRL 5077, which I'm assuming is Freya.
You are correct. The XP50. Connor Doyle. Should we give we'll give a shout out to County Cork. I can hear the glasses clink as I say it. Connor Doyle got a lot of crossers on board as well. And we've also got Barry Hurley and Nicholas O'Leary and also Nick Jones from the UK, pretending to be Irish for a week. And you know what? We've also we've forgotten about George, haven't we?
We never forget about George. But it is, I don't know if this is a moment we can talk to him because he's been down on the water.
Well, let's give it a go. George Bonello Dupuy out on a rib on the water. We're just about to see the start of basically IRC4. It's start 4. George, can you hear us?
I can, loud and clear, Louis, and Giles, good afternoon.
Set the scene, George. What's going on down there?
Well, we've got a really close battle over here coming up to the start line. We've got X1 from Malta, MLT 14444 coming up to the start, and they seem to be in the best position over here. Closely followed, and as you can see, there's a bit of an Italian hand waving up in the air and shouting and screaming. We've got Arsuna just behind them over here, the blue boat.
Okay.
Just trying to push them over the line or up to windward. And straight ahead of us over here, the black and red boat, straight ahead in front of us is ROU 042. And we are looking at, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go behind it because...
That's set sail. That's set sail, George.
You've answered our question, George. Thank you.
Here they are. Here they are. Up to my port side over here, there's Phosphorus on the left-hand side. GBR, trying to get a good position.
Yeah, the
So
A30.
we're in the mix of everything. We're in the mix of everything, and I'm going to try and get away from here because everybody seems to be getting really excited.
Yeah, but stay on the line, George. Stay on the line.
Yeah, sure.
George, tell me quickly, would you rather be on the rib or would you rather be on one of these boats?
No, rib, definitely. Well, I'll take a go on Leopard of London if they offer me a bet, but definitely on the rib today.
All right. And
George, you've done this race double-handed. How much of a big ask is that in these conditions?
It is a big ask. Thank God we had really good weather when I did it double-handed a few years back. But in this weather condition, I mean, it's a big ask if it's good weather or if it's bad weather. So I was lucky enough to have middle to medium weather, so it was fine. But it's going to be a long, tiring race if you're fully crewed or if you're single-handed or double-handed, I mean.
Okay, brilliant. George, we're going to let you go because the gun's just fired. That is the start. And there's a lot of hoisting going on here, so I'm going to get back to Louis and give him some numbers.
Yeah,
looking down at the pin end of the line, that's MLT 14414. That is X1. That's should help you there.
Yeah, I've only keep going.
Behind, well, just inside them is Freya with the purple spinnaker. We can see that.
Yep,
Our friends with the yellow spinnaker, FRA 43769, they've got a bit of a twist.
That's Baradoz, the Polo 1250, Xavier Bellois.
Then the set sail is coming through. What is going on? X1 seems to be pointing. Ooh, that's a bit tight up at the pin end at the moment.
Yeah, give us some sail numbers, Giles.
Yeah, so I've got your set sail. That's the red spinnaker.
Yeah, from Romania there. We've got Valentin Uru.
Yeah, behind them we have GER 6009.
And that is Liu, the J45, Thierry Dessen. Third race for Liu and the skipper. And another boat from Marseille.
Okay, well look at them. They should know. They should have the experience of a bit of light wind around there, shouldn't they?
For sure.
Then we've got Raceberry, Croatia, CRO 2751, easy to spot.
Yeah, that's Austrian for this race, although it's a Croatian number, Thomas Reisinger.
Okay, then we've got a boat with an antelope looking like it is on the spinnaker, FRA 43905.
At Sea Energy, that's a Solaris 50. Gillon on Bordes.
So I think we're just looking at, they're just panning down there. We're going back towards, I can see the Senglia, tip of Senglia.
Yeah, we've got a real tight shot here of that. That really is busy at the pin end there. The purple kite is doing extremely well. Who is that? Even though the kite's not flying.
Got to worry about a port hand navigation mark at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah, what's the sail number on that purple boat?
Oh, that's Freya.
That's Freya. So I think the Irish there have got a cracking start in the circumstances, in the light airs.
Yeah. But I would rather be full. And the yellow kite that we've talked about earlier.
Well, I think they're just holding it up there because obviously they've got the wind shadow of you're gonna. Is it St Elmo over there? No, he's got me. You got St Elmo.
You got St Elmo. You got St Elmo by the purple kite.
Yeah, but once they get out of that wind shadow, they're going to take off.
So into the Calcara Creek effect. That's what you're telling me? It's going to come shooting down from there, is it?
Oh, I can just see the brownie points racking up here. But it's interesting to see we've got some boats now that are sailing almost parallel to the line with the kites up. So looks like the kite isn't favoured. Freya has jibed. Yeah. So they are now on port jibe.
Set sail's trying to jibe, but they've got a wine glass.
Yeah, it's nice jibe from Freya actually. They got the spinnaker into the middle of the boat and then put it out the other side. It was nice and controlled.
So behind them we have the MLT 14444 X1 again.
Yeah, I reckon that's Comanche Sagola, Pepe Forniche Italian. It's actually 1551 in the entry list.
Oh, and I think we're cross purposes, but let's not worry about that.
And he's done the race many times. Last year on the J122 Joy, and Pepe and the team are from Sicily. This is their third race for the boat.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Look at that. Getting
look at that.
Us.
My word. Fantastic shot. Yellow kite. That's that one coming straight at us, Giles. I don't know if you can get the sail number on that.
I think it's the little French. With the little French one we looked at earlier.
The Pogo 1250. Xavier Bellois.
It's got a...
Barados, the name of the boat. Returning after competing last year. Xavier actually lives in London, but he is obviously from France. And nice wide shot there. Freya's done a good job there, hey?
They have. They managed to get themselves into clear air. There is a right tussle going on at the back with GER 6009.
Here we go. If you're watching Freya leading the start of IRC4 and you're in Cronins, or the Oar in Crosshaven, or at the Royal Court Yacht Club, would you mind cheering at the Royal Malta Yacht Club, please, in your positions as you're having your cup of coffee or pint of something else?
We'd be happy with that. Right, I've definitely got the definite ID back. We did know this, FRA 43769. That is the yellow kite.
Yeah, it is indeed the Pogo 1250, Xavier Bellois, coming back for his second race. And two Pogo 1250s in this start.
Well, they've definitely set themselves up beautifully, haven't they? They're making real progress now. Freya coming across to them. And this is where we've seen, coming over to this side, you've got to start on the Fort St Angelo side, you've got to get yourself across this side.
There we go. There's a nice shot of Barados there. A lot of concentration there.
Yeah. And looking out to sea, the fleet is still on the horizon, isn't it? They're certainly not barrelling off into the distance.
Not at the moment, no. We do have a bit of a funnel effect of the breeze coming in from the south, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But great job there by Barados. They look like they're going to be first out of the Harbour in this start 4. Who else we got, Giles? Got a nice wide picture there. Pick out whoever you like.
Yeah, who's this boat? ROU 1044, white hulled boat. They're directly behind Barados.
That's Essentia, Grand Soleil 44, beautiful boat. Marcin Satowski from Poland.
Yeah. All the crew up on the bow.
There you go, getting the back end of the boat out of the water. Trying to reduce the drag.
Right, we're looking back at another yellow spinnaker now, which is ITA 1612.
Yes, that is the Solaris 47 Anouk. Antonio Bavasso, going very well.
Yeah, behind them with the orange kite is More Fun.
More Fun. Now, they're a really interesting bunch. Maurizio Cozzuti designed boat, built in Split, but the crew is really multinational, but a lot of Swiss lake sailors on that team, and they know how to sail in the light, don't they, Giles?
Yeah, coming across to the left, there is GBR 3876X.
That is Phosphorus, too, Mark Emerson, Round Island, Raw Transatlantic race, Round Britain and Ireland race. He's done thousands of miles. Second race for him this year, and last year he was third in class 12th overall.
Yeah.
That boat goes well,
And
particularly
they
in the
sent
heavy.
a cracking bit of footage in, didn't they?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's up on the Facebook at the moment. You can see the guy on the wheel there. He's properly white-knuckling it, isn't he?
Absolutely loving it. And then BEL 733.
Yes, that's Morpheus, the Sydney GTS 43. Stephen Verstraet from Belgium. And last race was 2020, but he didn't finish. So I'm sure that's unfinished business there for Morpheus.
Yeah. And then we're still looking across. I think there looks like a bit more activity down the line, but I'm not sure they're going to be sending them off straight into this pack.
Yeah, we've got, as I said, a lovely beauty shot. I can't remember ever seeing spinnakers in the harbour. You've been coming here longer than me, but I'm pretty sure they've actually started start 5. And we are at the moment looking at Essentia, which is one of the start 4 boats. But what do you think, Giles? Do you think they look like they're on last orders there, start 5? You think they're coming in?
Wow.
All on head sails, eh?
Yeah, I know. It's extraordinary.
We've still got a lovely wide shot. Look at that in Grand Harbour. I'm definitely going to have a cold juice after this one. I tell you, you can certainly get it here in Valletta. Beautiful.
They're definitely coming up to the line, aren't they? In short order, Louis.
I would say so. Let's switch to start 5. We're watching the start 4 boats just coming to the southern end of Grand Harbour, but the next start we think is about a minute away, which will be at 12 o'clock. Start 5, we're assuming.
If I'm looking down there, what am I? Oh, we're still looking at boats coming up the course here, aren't we? So.
Yeah, we've got a nice wide shot there of the battlements and the beautiful buildings in Valletta. It is really a stunning place to visit any time of the year.
Okay, so we're back to the wide shot, looking down the harbour towards the start line. And if I go to the pin end of the line,
yeah,
Louis,
start 5. Most of these boats in RC3. We've got 18 boats, 10 different countries, from New Zealand, Poland. I mean, all over the world. Yeah. Giles, who can you see?
Okay, at the pin end, I've got GBR 6255N.
That is Lisa Arca, 46, Giovanni Di Vincenzo and Francesco Bertone.
I had a word with Francesco this morning. He was being very canny. He wasn't telling me a lot, but they won the Rolex Durale. There we go, there's your start. 241 nautical mile Rolex Durale this summer, light wind race.
Okay,
they've got to be in with a shout. They've got the tactical nous on board with Francesco.
Yeah, winning overall under IRC in a fleet of over 100 boats. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Okay, so right on the pin with the red and white kite. I don't know. We're back on the.
Yeah,
we're back looking at the.
Yeah, we've got the boats over this side. So let's see who you can pick out in that little pat there. That's definitely Phosphorus in the middle of the picture.
Yeah. So
you've got Urbania, the Swan 45, is it, or is it 40? Yeah, it must be a Swan 45. Urbania. That's Spanish skipper. Give us some numbers.
FRA 9845.
FRA 9845?
No, that's in start 4, because we're looking at start 4 shots still.
I think a lot of these boats have now popped kites in start 5. Yeah.
There we go. Wider shot. We're looking down the harbour now. We can start to see the start 5 boats. PLO 22511.
Yes, that's Scamp, one of the 3 HH42s. Scamp 3, Maciej Ganowski and Witold Karolo from Poland.
Okay, so they look to have a flyer. Just behind them, just to the left of them is Artie.
Yeah, indeed. Artie, that's the Rort Commodore, James Neville and his team.
It's not the Rort Commodore, it's Lisa Tariano.
Oh, beg your pardon. That was a hospital pass.
There is a pint, if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, one of the big competitors there.
Okay.
Lisa Triano, Christian Rippard as skipper.
Now I'm going to get a bit confused because I don't know if FRA ending in FRA 53205.
Chenapan, Curve 40, Gilles Caminade.
Yeah, they're heading. You called out them. You said they might do well in this race.
Oh yeah, that boat. It's also designed for IRC, the Curve 40.
Well, they're
so
doing well on this start. That's a
like
nice shot of Artie at the moment with the big Jeep logo on
and
it.
another boat from Marseille. All French crew from Marseille. Chenapan. Who else you got, Giles? We're looking at this one on screen. We got
that's the Polish
POL.
boat. Yeah, that's your Polish coming straight towards the moment.
Yeah.
Just going behind him is GRE 1835 double hander, but they're from the previous start.
Thank
so I'm
you.
going to say MLT 2222.
And that is Artie.
That is Artie. FRA 3600. That looks like Daguet Coram.
Correct. Frederic Pouzin with his team from the Société Nautique de Marseille.
That is another shout for. They should be a contender, shouldn't they?
Yeah,
they get it right. If they get it right,
I would say top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
If they get it right.
Yeah, if they get it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just see if we could. We're just focusing in on
some
Coram at the moment with the little class start 4 boat behind. We want to come back from that shot a bit.
So we've got
Looking
the
out
start 5
further on,
boats coming through the start 4 boats.
FRA 150433.
That is the Ice 52, Jean-Yves Thomas from France, the Mahana.
Okay, there's another Ice 52 in this race, isn't there? Maltese.
There is indeed,
I think we can just pick them out just at the moment. These boats are moving, aren't they? A bit more power. Bit more power?
Bit more power, much more high performance as we go through the classes. And they've definitely caught up with
GBR 4921R.
That is Eno. James Neville, Rort Commodore.
Well, he's coming in hot into the harbour wall, so that's going to be a big jibe. Let's hopefully we can watch that, follow that one through.
Yeah, but slightly different. Well,
big lovely shot. Look at this. Look at this, Louis. Look at that.
Lovely. Look at that. Simultaneous jibe there. And that could go on all through the picture, couldn't it? Lovely bit of engagement there.
Well, that is confidence first and foremost, isn't it, to bring your boat in that close to the shore.
Yeah, and that was, I believe, Neo-Mind Sasha Schroeder's Neo 43. And that simultaneous jibe was with Eno.
Yeah.
And Eno give them a little bit of time. So the German Neo's getting away well here.
Okay,
and they
so
obviously...
Coram coming into the shot now too, coming in behind them.
Yeah, Coram coming in behind them. There's a right old battle going on here. Yeah. Just to let you know that Neo Mine has got a previous race win on it, Jaime Arbonez. Lovely shot here, beautiful shot from the drone. And as you say, there is Daguet Coram 3. And class winner and 3rd overall last year. And I'm pretty sure he's got the combined talents of Thomas Huxell and Nicolas Troussel on board that boat. Extremely well sailed. And of the Curve 46s, it is the lightest one. They've got quite a few crew on that boat. I'm surprised they're that far back as well. I'd have thought they'd have a few more on the foredeck, but
it's a long race, but even these first few yards count, though, don't they?
Yeah, but when you're doing those manoeuvres, you obviously need people in the right positions.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking,
big bunch of boats over this side, Charles.
Well,
yeah,
we've watched it all through the race. They've been coming into the corner, and then they've got to take another jibe, haven't they, to get out through the harbour entrance.
Lovely shot there. Lovely battle going on there. And we got...
Going to say we've got about 4 minutes to the next start.
Okay, little shot of Morpheus there, the Belgian
team.
team.
To line up down there.
Yeah, the breeze, we can definitely see more breeze on the water now.
Yeah.
So we're getting a bit more breeze here in Grand Harbour. If you just joined us, we had a little bit of a delay. That's why we're still transmitting. And we're on start 5. So you're looking at boats from IRC 3. from 10 different countries. And just so you know, you can watch a replay of the whole start shortly after the transmission. It will go up straight away on Facebook and also on YouTube a little bit later. We'll have to load it back up to there. And
it's a yacht race, Louis.
It is a yacht race.
Look at these boats competing with each other, trading,
Fantastic.
cross-tack while driving.
And there's going to be more spinnaker action when they get outside the harbour.
Well,
Look at it.
Yeah. That's a long leg up to Sicily today, I would imagine. But this breeze will help them. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah. Great to see young kids out watching the start of this race, probably dreaming of doing this race in the future.
We're going to have a quick look at the weather after this start, aren't we, Louis? See if that high is moving at all, because the word was yesterday it wasn't due to do anything, but if it did move, if the high moved a little bit, it could start to bring in more breeze onto the course, and that's what everybody will be hoping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise they were in for a diminishing forecast, which is not what you want on a 600-mile race, especially on one of the smaller boats.
Yeah.
Because quite often in the past we've seen that big wind fill in at the back and bring the little boats home.
Yeah.
Last night's forecast suggested they were going to be crushed. And some of them were wondering whether 6 days would be enough. So
it's so difficult to tell.
They were packing a seventh day of supplies.
Yeah, it's so difficult to tell. I think we are under 2 minutes to the start of start 6. And that is 14 boats, mainly from IRC2, 7 different countries, including 2 TP52s. And that design's been very successful in the past, hasn't it, Giles?
Well, clearly, yes. What was the last one to win? Was that B2, the Italian boat?
He won it twice.
Won it twice, didn't they?
Yeah, won it twice.
One light wind race and one not light wind race, which I thought was interesting.
Significant. And also not forgetting Brian Earhart's Lucky in 2010, the American TP.
Absolutely.
So 3 times TPs. And in the light,
yeah.
What do you reckon, Giles?
Well, it's very interesting because there's a boat out there called Red Bandit, German entry,
yes.
4-Star Offshore Racing Foundation, set up by Carl-Peter Forster.
Yeah.
A very young group of guys on the boat.
Yeah, but they've got people like Johannes Polgar, Olympian on the boat.
Yeah, you're not going to take out some newbies for their first time, are you, on your own? So, but the intention is to get them going well.
I got that wrong. He's on Elliot.
Okay.
Elliot, I owe you another
right.
beer.
That's another beer.
He's on Rafale.
But this is a bit like the Jarhead Foundation in the sense that the intention is to get young people into sailing.
Yeah.
Racing hard, understanding what it takes to get a boat round. Now, they did very well in the Giralia too.
Yeah.
They were just behind Lisa R. Carl Peters said to me that's a good sign, but he said it is a big step up to a 600-mile race.
Yeah, understood. I reckon we may have just 10 seconds to start here, Giles. Less than that, 5.
Okay, so if we're looking at the wide shot again, down at the far end, there's your gun, Louis. Love it. GBR 007, that is the Swan 82 Kalima, I think, manned by a Swiss crew, is that correct? It's definitely a Swan 82.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a GBR.
No, but it's not a British boat, it's a British flag boat, it's on charter.
Okay, if it's a Swan 82 Kalima,
yep.
They did the race in 2018, but with a broken mainsail had to retire, so they're back again. Group of Finnish and Australian sailors from all different levels. A lovely boat, Swan 82. Robbie Storber from Switzerland.
They'll be enjoying that. That's a stunning boat to go around on. Just behind them, ITA. Is that a 23107?
Yeah, that's Akita. That's the Maxi Dolphin 62 from Bruno Maron.
Another nice boat.
Only launched this summer. That's a brand new spanking boat, highly rated. And that boat, the Maxi 72, has won the mini Maxi class at the Rolex Maxi Yacht Cup. So that boat does go well.
I owe you a beer, Louis, because I said earlier on in the commentary there was only one Austrian boat, and so far you've mentioned another, and now I can see a third, of course, which is Stella Maris, the Swan 50. Yeah. Club Swan 50 just coming into vision now with August Schramm, the opera singer.
Yeah, but he is Swiss, so I'll let you off. But yeah, you're right.
He's an Austrian opera singer.
He's an operatic tenor. Wow, it's amazing. Yeah, mainly Austrian crew, but it's skipped by August Schramm, who is from Switzerland. Stella Maris, the Swan 50. And who we got on shot here? We
Well,
got the blue Spinnaker. Is that the Swan 82, Giles?
Yeah, that's the Swan 82.
Yeah, let's,
what we want to be looking at is coming up into, hopefully into vision shortly, is Maverick with the big
if we went a little bit wider on the shot.
Its, Spinnaker.
Yeah.
Because they're coming, there we go. We can see them to the right of screen with the dark grey Spinnaker. That is
the darker boat to right of screen, Maverick Infinity 46. That is being sailed by Michael Furman from Australia. The boat is chartered to him, but it was third overall in 2016. Michael has sailed on the boat at the Rolex Sydney Hobart, the Rolex Fast Fit Race. This is a DSS foil narrow hull. I reckon this has got to be in with a shout, Giles, in all conditions.
I spoke to him this morning and he did have a big grin on his face.
I'm not surprised.
It's the first time he's done this race. He's massively experienced offshore. He's never done this race before, but there are plenty of other people on it that have done it.
Oh, yeah.
He talked me through their routing and he sounded like he'd done it.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of times.
You know, look at his crew. Stu Bannatyne, Mal Parker, Stefano Girardi, Steve Thomas, David Gilmour, that's son of Peter, Gordon Kay from Infinity Yachts, and also an amazing guy called Chris Lou Lewis, who is the Navigator Warrior One that won the Royal Caribbean 600, and Chris Burtish. This guy has stand-up paddleboarded the Atlantic.
Well,
that's pretty crazy.
You might get around this course faster on a stand-up paddleboard, mightn't you, Louis? Were you leading me to that one? I can't remember. Just behind them, that's Red Bandit, isn't it? Got the
Carl Peter
GI
Foster.
8399, an Italian Spinnaker.
Yeah, and which raced last year was Freccia Rossa.
It did, but with the same crew. With the same crew this time.
Okay.
It's done the race before under previous ownership as Freccia Rossa.
Yeah.
And it was always reputed to be a light wind boat, but they were denying it when I was talking to them. They were saying no. But
I heard Carl Peter Forster first did this race in 1979.
Okay, what's the Swiss boat? Swiss 53, just probably.
That is Chocolate 3, Far 52, Francois Bopp. I think you know that boat, don't you, Charles?
We love that boat. Chocolat 3, that's what we should call it. Chocolat 3.
Chocolat 3. There we go.
Featured in some more great footage from last year's race. You can find that on it as well. They're speeding past ours. You remember all powered up? That was a lovely piece.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that this time, but still a lovely, good-looking boat.
Is that who we got in shot? We have indeed. And that boat was formerly Optimus Prime, wasn't it, when it was Greece?
Was it the Optimum 3 from Greece, the former winner of the race?
It was, the former winner from 2004, Giles. I'm sure you're very well aware.
Greek Odyssey with Eddie Warden-Owen on board.
Eddie Warden-Owen on board, and we've got Miles Warden-Owen here.
We have.
Haven't we? In the background, along with a fantastic media team. The camera work has been sensational. Now, there's Maverick going really well. It's 46 feet, that boat. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind putting a full fat kiddie on them getting in here, Giles.
We're heading in that. We're either gonna fall flat on our faces, Louis. We have been bigging up the 46-foot boats.
Okay, now who's that? The Austrian cell number there, 5021. Is that? That's Stella Maris. We've had a chat there about the Swiss operatic tenor August Schramm. And
here we go. I can't see who that is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
still
Stella
the Club Swan 50, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Still heading
Lovely
out.
boat.
They're beautiful, good-looking one-design boat, more commonly associated with inshore racing, Windward Lured Regatta. He's one of the few. Balthazar was here a year ago, didn't they? Did very well too. So there's a couple of them that like to go offshore, which I think is it's a Swan. It should be able to go offshore.
And the class does go offshore, don't they?
Yeah. Well, have in the past. They have, but a lovely boat.
Okay, I think we've still got a fair bit to go before the next start.
Yeah.
But definitely I think the breeze has picked up a touch. There's a nice close shot there of Stella Maris, Club Swan 50. And most of that crew are doing this race for the first time.
Okay, so back to more, we want to get a bit more general crew, because there's some boats back at the back here we haven't seen yet. So.
Okay, we've got the drone up now. Furiosa.
Yes.
How did I do, Charles?
You did very well, Furiosa.
Right, Cookson 50.
Estonia.
Well, nearly a Cookson 50 because it's now actually shorter. They've taken some of the transom off.
Cookson 49.
A Cookson 50's done well in this race before those, Giles, hasn't it?
Won it in 2016.
Yeah,
should have won it in 2015. Lost by 9 seconds.
Well,
overall,
this boat is Estonian flag, but it's a multinational crew, and the skipper Rolf Relander is from Finland. The crew are from all over the place on Furiosa, Sweden, Australia, UK. This is their first Rolex Middle Sea race, but they have done the Rolex Fastnet race in the past. So first time here for the multinational team on Furiosa, skippered by Rolf Relander. And as we say, the Cookson 50, though, with the canting keel, it does like a bit of breeze.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just carrying it round that rating penalty, aren't they?
Well, it's hard going. So.
Oh, here we got teasing machine. Eric de Turkheim's NMYD 54 teasing machine. And I was speaking to Laurent Pages on board, and he told me he thinks there might be a bit more breeze in the forecast on this race.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
it's a difficult one, and they say that you see what it says in the tea leaves, but then it's not until you get out there that you really know what you're going to get.
Now, who's this? I think that might be... Looks too big for a Curve 40. Come on, help me out, Giles. It's
Red Bandit.
Yeah, Red Bandit. Going really well, and those TPs do go really well in the light, don't they?
They do. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there, Louis.
Yeah. I think we're sort of hedging that way, aren't we?
Okay. We're not going far outside that 46,
Yeah,
52
but there are two
bracket.
of them. There's also Arabas.
Yeah.
Don't
well,
forget
Gerard
them.
Logel, he's well versed in this race too.
Absolutely. And, I would not discount them whatsoever. I think we have about 2 minutes till the next start, just to let everybody know. And that will be the final start of the Rolex Middle Sea Race. In about 2 minutes, we'll have the big guns going. And there you see a list of them right now. 13 entries, ranging inside from the mighty Leopard 3 back here on the prow. Right down to the Melia 60 Clipper 10. And that's going to be our final start of the day.
Yeah, Chipper Lipper 10. That's previously, they had a Cookson 50, Chipper Lipper 8, which came second to Mascalzoni Latino in 2016, the Cookson 50, So,
and they're back with Amelia 60, first race for them. Now, the monohull race record was set by Comanche last year, 40 hours, 17 minutes and 50 seconds. And the Comanche winning since... The last, let's put it this way, the last maxi to win to win overall was Andre Soriano's Allegre in 2009. And I tell you what, you've got Will Best on board Leopard, and he was on that boat.
He was.
In 2009.
And on 2008 when they won Line Honours.
And there is a trophy for the first monohull to finish the race, the RLR trophy, and it's very likely that one of them's going to be in the last start of the day. And we're just seeing them coming up to the line now. We think 30 seconds to go. And that looks like Bullet in the front there, Giles. Can you help me out?
Well, you've got, you're looking at Leopard crossing the line from the Sluiting Battery to Fort St. Angelo. You've got Bullet just spinning on its keel at the moment.
Look at the size of Leopard's rig.
1483. That is, here we go. Look at the size of this about to come. It's about a hoist a football pitch. There's the start.
There we go, and Leopard have got a cracking start.
Well, that's probably, is that a budgie special?
Well, not quite. He didn't port tack the fleet, but that is a cracking start.
But he's done another one on us, hasn't he, though?
It is a cracking start.
That is a
there
very
we go.
good start.
Leopard 3, Far 100, skippered by Chris Sherlock. Third Rolex Middle Sea race for the boat, line honours in 2009, runner-up in 2017. Now under new ownership. This boat has scorched so many world speed records. Carbon fibre, canting keel, 47-metre cathedral rig, and they can hoist 1,400 square metres. In tennis courts, that's about 3.5, 4 tennis courts a sail. And yeah, Will Best, navigator, who won with Allegra in 2009, and Ian Budgeon, bang it in on port on a gear in whatever year that was. He's also done it on the Carter. All of this crew have done this race before.
It's a stunning sight to see them coming back down. It was so lovely having him here. We should give a bit more credit to Chris Sherlock. This is the 5th race for him. First time he did it was on Longo Barda back in 1992. Second race after that long hiatus in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
when he and Mike Slade brought the Maxi here to help the Royal Malta Yacht Club reinvigorate the race. So lovely touch, and great to see him here again so many years later.
Yeah, and we've got a nice
looking
wide
at
shot
that,
now,
yeah,
but well
lovely
done,
wide
Leopard.
MLT 2205.
That's that lovely Vismara 62, leaps and bounds too. Jean-Philippe Blalpane from Belgium.
Lovely spinnaker.
Mark Mills design, like that boat, I tell you. I'd like to take that home with me. They're from Riva di Triano, just outside Rome.
This black spinnaker is HUN 7002.
Wild Joe. Martin Joza from Hungary. And I don't know how many races Martin's done. A lot. Came close to winning.
11 on this boat, 14 in total, I think, is the. But he had a grin on his face this morning. I thought to myself, he's going to hate this. This is going to.
Well, look how narrow the boat is.
Exactly. He said it's all about tactics. This is all going to be about tactics, and he was grinning. I don't know. Take that. Read into that what you want, but he was a happy-looking man.
Here's a bit of here's a bit of history for you. What was Wild Joe originally at home? If you know, what was the name of the boat, and more importantly, what particular cup did it win? Anyway,
well, it's about to win the cup for being first class one boat out of the harbour, which I don't think anyone was expecting.
Which is pretty superb. Leopard are definitely running out of speed there. And Wild Joe, that narrow hull line, that's very little drag, going extremely well. We're just getting the beauty shot here. Who have we picking up? We're gonna concentrate on all this magnificent fleet.
Well, that's leaps and bounds in shot at the moment.
Yeah, that is a beautiful boat, absolutely stunning.
Looking back towards the Valletta shore, the city shoreline here, and there you can see our little tents up the top there. They're just coming past us now.
Yeah. And this isn't Jean-Philippe Blapane's first race. He brought his Grand Soleil 58 here in 2019.
I'm going to take a punt and say that's ITA 87952 in shot at the moment. Just no, what just went there? So
no, they're zipping through these. They're getting a bit excited, the cameramen. That was the GBR cell number. I think that's Black Pearl. Yeah, that's the Black Pearl. So in shot right now, Black Pearl, boating 56, Stefan Jentz. It's got Mark Legess, navigator, Paul Stanbridge, watch leader, multiple Rolex Middle Sea races for Stefan, but yet to win the race. Will it be his year? Will it be somebody else's year? We're going to find out in the next few days. And this is one of the latest offshore designs from Boating, with water ballast, and it suits a short-handed setup, so it might light the light.
It might like light. It's just unproven, isn't it, at the moment? They've got to get them first. You've got to finish. Is it? What is it?
Oh, yeah.
To finish first you have to finish.
And they know that for sure on Black Pearl.
Just coming in behind them is FRA 2025.
That is...
It's another good-looking yacht.
FRA.
FRA
Gotcha,
2025.
sorry, Spirit of Lorena. Boating 65. I'm not sure who we've got in view right now. Is that... That might be them.
Yeah, it might be. Should be. Yes, I think it is. Yeah, I can see the guy sitting on the front.
Yeah, it's a lovely
Boating
Boating 65.
He used to race a Swan 601. I don't think he's ever done the race before, though. So.
Yeah, but this boat won the last race at the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup, and you're only as good as your last race, Charles.
That's a very good call.
Oh, now we've got Ran. Nicholas and Catherine Zenstrom with their brand new CF52 Ran. This is something else, this boat. This is a Sean Carkeep design, and this is, I believe, the fourth race for Nicholas and Catherine Zenstrom, and they finished first in class on 3 previous occasions, but they've never won it overall. This is an absolute machine, this boat. Just look at the sail plan there. Just look at the fine entry points for the spreaders. Single point attachment on the spreaders. And it literally has a cutaway bow. You can just see Tim Powell there in front of Nicholas Zenstrom. And that looks like Tom on the pumps.
Great to see them back, though, Louis, isn't it? Because it's been a few years, and that was in their purple patch when they did back-to-back Fastnet wins.
Correct, yeah, back-to-back Fastnets. Now we've got, I think that's Aragon from the air.
Another nice boat. They were feeling quite happy too. I spoke to Jean-Philippe Gallois, who used to race on Freccia Rossa. He was grinning. I think primarily because he was on a 72-foot boat and was going to be a bit more comfortable than the TP52. He also thinks they might be good in the light.
Yeah, it's a bit of a giveaway around the back of I Love Poland there.
Well, designed to race in the Med.
Yeah, she's Martin 72. She's a carbon Nomex sandwich, quite light, but very, very good seaworthy boat. That's done the transatlantic race, and she goes well in the light. Very slippery. Got a good crew on that boat as well.
Come on, Louis. You're not allowed to avoid mentioning I Love Poland and the skipper because that is your tongue twister for the day.
Well, I mean, 2009. Sorry, which year was it? Come on, you're gonna have to help me.
2020.
I'm getting excited.
2020 line honours winner.
That was incredible.
Grzegorz Baranowski.
Oh, very good.
Classic, cracking line honours finish when they came in, didn't they? Nail biting. There was another Finnish crew on Hyper, I think that's right. Am I right with that? Who came? Or
and E1 as well.
E1. I mean, that's the boat. They came in together. Yeah, they're not here this year.
There we go. There's I Love Poland, and they have a young Polish crew on board, but they also have the silver medalist from the Tokyo Olympics, and that's Agnieszka Szypolas. She was silver in the 470, and she's sailing with them. And nearly always, they always have, and they have this year as well, Konrad Lipski, and he's navigating there for Grzegorz. And they've got a pretty good battle on with Hyper and also Sailing Poland.
Yeah, which is the boat behind them, the red Volvo 65 behind.
Yeah, indeed.
It's a tough ask, these conditions in boats like that, though, aren't they? Because they are ocean racing greyhounds and expect big breeze. They're built they're built tough. They're carrying a lot of weight they probably wouldn't want. We've had Volvo 70s coming here since the very beginning, and Volvo 65s. They do like it. But really, it was only that year, 2020, when the big guns, the big Maxis didn't show up, that they were given their chance to shine.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Giles.
Well, it's not over yet, Louis.
Have we got them all out of the harbour yet?
We haven't got them all out of the harbour yet. No, we're looking at the last one.
It's getting to that sort of time, though, isn't it?
I know. People will be cheering that we're going to shut up shortly, Louis.
And I think the important thing to tell everybody watching at home that this is only just the start of the race. We're going to have live updates every morning on the Rolex Middle Sea Race Facebook page, and we're going to have a few special guests, and we're going to be, producing some fantastic images amongst this team and videos as the race unfolds. And keep tuned in. You've only just watched the start, and we've got all sorts of technology. All of the boats have got satellite trackers on board, so you can follow your favourites, and you can also see some of the blogs they're going to be sending in. We've given them all a WhatsApp number, and they can send us pictures, they can send us audio, they can send us little videos. And in those morning updates on the Facebook page, you will see a few guests come in. I think we'll just leave it at that, won't we, Charles? We're not going to give away too much.
No need to. Keep on the toes, Louis.
Yeah. But if you want to stay tuned to the 43rd edition of the Rolex Middle Sea Race.
Sorry, I'm just going to bring you back to the shot for a minute, because it's just beautiful. Look at them. They are. We're getting down to the last few boats leaving the harbour. You can still see boats on the horizon heading north up to Sicily. I think the race committee did them a favour. I didn't get this confirmed, I'm afraid, which is remiss of me, Louis, but there usually are a couple of marks. One when you get out of the harbour, you turn hard left and go up to Dragonar, and I think they pulled those to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, to let the boats go where they want to.
Exactly. Just in that, there's Hyper. Just the boat behind is also Maggiore, which is one of the Italian entries. It's going to have a slow race, but it's a beautiful looking boat. It's a sail training ship, I believe, for the Italian Navy. It's been here a couple of times.
Okay, cool. And you've done this race.
Well,
what did you do?
I did it on Steinlager too. So for me,
How long did you take?
We did it in. I can't remember, but it was around 3 days. I'm going to say it was a good. It was a good one. Yeah.
From ear to ear.
Oh, it was a spectacular.
Yeah.
We started. It was a Grand Harbour start. We were up early morning, straight in Messina. Then we were Stromboli in the evening. Went round at sunset.
Oh. And
On my dry boat.
You get on this.
Yeah, it was a dry boat until we reached Stromboli, and then apparently those champagne had found itself on the boat. So we had that as we rounded. The sun went down, and then we were watching the lava flows from Stromboli as we sailed away. It was very romantic, Louis.
Can I just tell you, the viewers at home, that not everybody has champagne at Stromboli in this race. In fact, the mod 70s will probably be gritting teeth. Anyway, there's Spirit of Lorena, one of the magnificent maxis that we've got racing here at the Rolex Middle Sea Race. And as I said, we're going to keep you updated. It's only just started. And you can, probably the best hub to go to is the Rolex Middle Sea Race website. And that's simply rolexmiddlesearace.com. And we'll have live updates every morning, some stunning photographs, some stunning videos from the most beautiful race in the world. Thank you from everybody involved here in the Rolex Middle Sea Race. And oh, I forgot to say, if you want to get your shots into our feed, it's best to use our hashtags, Charles.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, do you want to tell the viewers at home what the hashtags are?
We're social media crazy this year, aren't we? We've got hashtag Rolex Middle Sea Race and hashtag RMSR 2022. We've got, what have we got? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're going for it this year.
Okay.
We're looking for everything and anything as long as it's yacht race related and to do with the Rolex Middle Sea Race. We've had some great stuff in from the boats in the past. And obviously we're not going to get in those classic surfing shots this year, but every chance for some beautiful images from the course. They will spend a fair amount of time looking at some of the beauty spots on the route, so very happy with that. And as you say, we've got our live updates every morning. We're going to try and do those at 9 o'clock, aren't they?
Yep.
It's not just going to be you and me talking.
Oh,
it's
no.
We'll have a look at the tracker each day, see what's going on. We'll have a look at the weather. We'll do a bit of homework before we set off.
Bring in a few interesting people.
Bring in a few interesting guests, talk to them, get the expert view as opposed to our view. And once boats start finishing, then of course we will bring in people from the boats too, so that we can get their story firsthand. Unfortunately, you and I both have our flights on Sunday, so let's hope they're all being by then.
They will. Well, look, there we got a lovely shot of I Love Poland.
I think we've got a few more minutes on the rib footage at the moment, so we can just keep going for a bit.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about I Love Poland. So they did the Roche Baltic Sea Race, and they sailed the boat here from the Baltic. 3 weeks it took them to get the boat here, and they'll be chomping at the bit.
They will. They won't be happy. They won't be happy sitting there at the moment, will they? Yeah,
but that's got to be the longest the boat sailed to get to this race, all the way from the Baltic.
On its hull.
On its hull.
So,
Hyper comes a hell of a long way as well. Yeah. That's the boat just in front. That's normally based in the Canary Islands, which is well over 1,000 miles from here. So, boats are coming a long ways, a lot of logistics. And what's magnificent for all of these teams is that the Royal Malta Yacht Club realise that, the effort people go to, and they want to make sure they get looked after when they come here. And they put out the most tremendous welcome at the club. Race extremely well organised. Yeah.
Well, they've updated, upgraded, whatever you want to call it. They strengthened their race management team, didn't they, this year? I think we probably should mention that. Stefan Kunzmann is the
principal race officer.
He's hugely experienced, and that showed last night at the race briefing.
He's ran Kina Wok, I don't know how many years, that huge regatta.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of respect for his
and the race director, you've got Chris Stone, who's now with the Royal Ocean Racing Club, ran the last Rolex Fastnet race. He's also been involved with the Rolex Sydney
Hobart,
Hobart.
yeah.
You know, so
worked at all the big clubs.
Yeah, a lot of experience.
Huge amount of experience. So having that here, and they're working with some local race officers too. Just the club wants to build its knowledge base, a bit like the foundation sailors in a way.
Absolutely, pass it on.
It's part of it. It's part of the process, and they will be delighted to have got this start away. They were a bit of hand wringing this morning with the weather forecast,
yes.
but it has paid off, hasn't it? And we're watching them
and got away clean and safe. No,
all you want to do is get them away clean. All you want is them to get out of the harbour, because that's part one, and then the real interest starts, doesn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Oh, well, we're still getting some great live shots from out on the water. And you can see some action there with a head sail coming down on that particular boat. And I wonder if they're going to go for a spinnaker, whether they're coming off the breeze.
Well, look at that awesome Maggiore.
There you go.
What is it? Come on, we need a sail plan expert in here.
And this is a Italian Royal Navy team, is it?
We think, it's it is a naval team.
Yeah.
Sail training ship. There's been a long history of that with the race, going
Indeed.
right back to the very beginning, 1968, I think, with Stella Polare, which was also. And that was, and the Italian Navy also, just quickly to say a thanks to them, in particular one member, Giovanni Iannucci, Admiral Giovanni Iannucci, who did the race and was on the jury for a number of years, sadly passed away this year, and is a great loss really to the community of this event, because he's been a great help, particularly back in 2007 when there was a storm and they needed all the help they could get with the boat stuck off the northern shore.
And always a happy, smiling face.
Always a happy, smiling face.
Yeah, fantastic. Giles, last thoughts. Rolex Middle Sea Race, they're off.
Well, once again, Grand Harbour's done us proud. It looked pretty awful to start with, but they're all away, and we've seen some very, very good sailing to start with. We've had a good look at the boats. You and I have had a great chat, I hope, about the cruise, and the viewers have had a bit of interest. And we're off back to the books now, aren't we, mate? To go.
We are fantastic.
Do some homework.
Look, thank you at home for watching the Rolex Middle Sea Race. Use that hashtag, Rolex Middle Sea Race. And if you've enjoyed watching this, please share it with all your friends. And if you haven't, well, that'll be our little secret. Goodbye from the Grand Harbour, Valletta, Malta.
Thank you for watching the start of the Rolex Middle Sea Race. To keep up to date with all the news, pictures and videos of this fascinating race, go to rolexmiddlesearace.com and follow the race on social media with the hashtag Rolex Middle Sea Race.